Welcome back to the second half of this interview, and now we're getting into the second half of our topics. But I kind of wanted to we kind of already talked about the pressure, but like you enjoy this so much, obviously, because it's sports. You let loose. Like whenever you do it, do you ever get the feeling of like, man, I can't believe I'm doing this? Like, does it ever feel surreal? Because I mean, I know like this is what you love, but is there ever that moment like, man, I can't believe I'm really in a field where I can like talk to the best of the best broadcasters, athletes? Like, do you ever get that feeling? I know you have to stay focused every day, but do you ever get that surreal feeling like, man, like I can't believe I'm actually getting to do what I really love?
Those moments really hit whenever I have bigger guests on per se. Let's say
Yeah.
like for a few weeks ago, Justin Gatlin, he was in studio. I mean, dude, he was the fastest man in the world at one point. And he's like in
Exactly.
studio and I'm talking to him about his
Yeah.
career. There was an event here in town that he hosted. When moments like that happen, or even when I go to sporting events, that's really what gets me because traveling to bigger cities like a Tampa, Orlando, Atlanta,
Yeah.
even New Orleans, compared to here, that's when it really gets me because it's like the whole city vibe. I guess you kind of get it. You go to a bigger city, it's like, dude, this is awesome.
Oh yeah, for
Like
sure.
you've got the nicer cars going by, you've got the high rise buildings.
Mm-hmm.
You get the idea. So whenever I travel and cover teams in other cities, that's when I really get that feeling because it's like dang, I really get to travel and cover a team,
Yes.
because of what I'm doing.
Right.
And I get to speak with certain people and I get to meet the people that are walking through the locker room hallways and all that. So that's when it really hits me the most, excuse me. But that's what I would say. Just
That's
when I
dope.
interview those bigger guests, that's when it really hits like, dang, this is pretty cool.
For sure. It is so before we get to the NBA, we gotta talk about the NBA playoffs because obviously, they're coming right
Yeah.
up. But is there one athlete you said like, man, this was like the favorite. This was my favorite interview that I ever did. Like one particular athlete that kind of stands out.
Man, that's
It,
so
it
tough.
it can be a recent one. It could be somebody like I mean, just one that stands out that you like that you really enjoyed.
Man, that's tough, honestly, man. Players, shoot, I hope you can edit this, man, because I gotta go through.
Oh no, you're good.
It's so tough it's like when you're doing this like every day, it's so
Yeah,
tough to like hang
yeah,
on
the
to like
everyday thing. Yeah.
because it just all piles on. Man, that is really difficult. And I'm blanking. I'll tell you what, Senior Bowl Hall of Fame dinner was super cool because um the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Yaya Diaby
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
on the defensive line right
Yeah,
there. He talked to him for a little bit. That was super cool.
that's awesome.
I mean, he was just kind of hanging around. Even after the interview, I went up and like talked to him.
It's like,
I,
yeah,
I
what's
was
up,
just
man?
talking to him. Yeah, like off mic, I was just talking to him, and
That's
I
cool.
was like, "Shoot, like I need to be recording right now." Um, but yeah, him
I
was
gotta
he
do my
was
job
cool.
still. I'm just
Right, right, yeah. Byron Young, he was cool. L.A. Rams,
oh,
that was awesome. Let's see, even local guys. Adron Chambers,
mhm.
World Series champion. He was super fun. I love interviewing like voices of teams. For example, Alabama, Chris Stewart, the voice of the Tide. He's fun.
Yeah, he's so good.
The
He's
Magic.
so good.
Yeah. Antonio Daniels for the Pelicans, AD. He's an interesting character. Anybody from the Magic, Jake Chapman, Dante Marcatelli, those guys.
For sure.
Gene Deckerhoff, the Bucks voice. That was a
Mm.
fun one. But man, you asked about athletes.
Not,
It would have to
bro.
be.
Like that's the. I mean, you said Tampa Bay. Like, yeah, you mentioned a lot of good. Yeah, a lot of good names
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
it would be tough. Like, Super Bowl probably has to be up there because, spoke with Devontae Smith,
Oh,
Zach
nice.
Bond, he was cool. Blake Groupie, the Saints kicker, Dylan Lobby, the Raiders running back,
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler, Saints quarterback.
Oh,
I've interviewed
really? You
him
talked to
twice.
Spencer? Wow, that's the.
I've interviewed him twice. Once at the Senior Bowl and then once when he, played for New Orleans for
That's
his
what's up, man.
rookie year. But um, that's got to be up there. Justin Gallen a few weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I was,
up
I was about to
there.
say you just mentioned one that
Yeah,
he was he was the fastest man in the world at one point. Like
yeah,
what? That's
yeah.
incredible. Man, I want to get to these NBA playoffs. Obviously, we have Memphis and Dallas playing tomorrow night, and I'm. Do you have a pick for that? Is there a team? Who are you liking in that one?
Memphis and Dallas. I
Oh,
think
come on.
Dallas
I'm
is
leaning toward
they.
Dallas.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Dallas, they looked really good against Sacramento. Started out a little slow, but AD got,
They look
he
good.
figured it out in the paint
Yeah,
eventually. He dropped 28 in that game. I believe he had 27, excuse me.
yeah. Clay, Clay,
Uh,
Clay went off too.
right. And Clay's one of those guys where, yeah, he's past
When
his
he gets
prime, but he
off. when he goes off,
He can
it's
shoot.
scary.
He can stroke that thing for sure. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I'm leaning towards Memphis, honestly.
Memphis, yeah. Yeah, I feel you.
They've got the size for it. They've got Ja. Um, I mean that's enough right there,
For
honestly.
sure. I
You know,
wanted to say though, with these playoffs, obviously, we got Boston playing Orlando, um, Detroit and New York. I think it's going to be a really interesting matchup. That actually be a kind
yeah,
of underrated one. Milwaukee, Indiana, because I mean Damian Lillard is out. That's another
right.
year of possibly Giannis. I think if I was talking to another guest last week, I think Giannis is on the clock with Milwaukee. I think like he might be out by the end of the season. And then in the West, you've got Minnesota, LA, AD, Luca, LeBron, Golden State, Houston. I think is going to be really underrated.
Yes.
Denver Nuggets. Like, is what's your one intriguing series? Because for me, Denver and the Clippers will be my most intriguing one in the West, and then Knicks Pistons will be my most intriguing one in the East. Like, what's your most intriguing one for each conference for the first round?
Yeah, man. Personally, I was literally just there, but like Orlando Celtics for me
Yeah,
personally. But overall, when I'm looking at this Eastern Conference playoffs, it's got to be Detroit and the Knicks because you
yeah.
look at the Pistons last year, they were 2-26.
And
They
now
had a
they're in six.
27 game losing streak,
Yeah.
and you see all those clips of Cade Cunningham like we're not 2-26 bad. Next year
Exactly.
we can be way better than this. We can turn this thing around. And now look at them,
Yeah.
44-38 on the season. And they're going to play a pretty tough Knicks team who well, it's going to be tough. The acquisition of Karl Anthony Towns, that really helps them stretch the floor there. He's probably, not probably, he's the best big man
Oh, shooting for sure. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
in the league, for sure. I think that's undeniable. Porzingis can shoot too, but not like Cat.
Not like Cat.
You've got Jalen Brunson, who I think is the best player on the floor
Oh yeah. Yeah.
in the series
I
for
love his
sure.
game. I love his game. I love Jalen
Yep,
Brunson's game.
yep. He's very good with his body. He knows how to draw fouls,
Yeah.
not like Shea or CP3. But
Exactly.
no, Jalen knows how to do it in a not so annoying way.
Hmm.
And they've got size along with Cat with like OG Anunoby and
Oh yeah.
whatnot. So it's gonna be interesting. I don't know
I
what
would
the
go Knicks
Pistons
in
can.
six. Yeah, I think Knicks in six for that one. I can
Okay,
I see that going 6 games. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, Knicks and six. That makes sense. I think Detroit's gonna be a tough place to play because the
Yes.
Pistons finally have something to root
Finally
for
have a
after
playoff
17
atmosphere.
years.
Yeah.
Is it 14 or 17 years? I think it's
Oh,
seven
I think it's
since
17. Yeah, I think it's 17 years
I
actually.
think since 17 years. I don't, yeah, need to double check that. But I could agree with you on that. Knicks and six. I think Knicks are a much more complete team. I
Hmm.
think they've got guys who can come off the bench like Josh Hart and be that kind of heart and soul of this team to kind of get them going. But I like that for the East. When it comes to the West, this is a tough one. The Rockets and Warriors could be really interesting.
Could.
Seeing that Dylan Brooks, Draymond Green
Yeah.
matchup again.
And the Rockets and Warriors was that was a rivalry. That was really a rivalry at one point when James Harden and Chris Paul were there. I mean, like they could have beaten the Kevin Durant Warriors.
Exactly. And it was interesting. I was listening to a Colin Cowherd take, and he said he thinks the Rockets could upset the Warriors, which is
It's
insane
so
to say because
weird to
they're a
say
two
because they're a
seed.
2 seed. Like, yeah, I'm like
Exactly.
that really wouldn't be an upset. But I know like what he means. It's like the Warriors are the more
Right.
experienced team. Yeah.
For sure. As far as playoff experience goes, most
But yeah,
definitely. But
Fred VanVleet, he's got experience. Like Fred VanVleet and then Emi Udoka as the coach. Yeah, for sure.
that's true. But overall, really
The
young
Warriors, yeah.
team. But I mean, Sangoon is a great piece. Jalen Green. There's a lot of guys who could step up for this team. Well, I'm curious to see what Dylan Brooks does. That's what
Yeah.
I'm watching.
Yeah,
Brooks and
he's the
Draymond
X
Green.
factor.
He's
Yeah, for sure. Are they
exactly.
gonna actually get it? I mean, I know Draymond's gonna get at least two technicals, probably. Like
At
it's
least, at
it's
least.
it's guaranteed to happen at one point. What have you thought about Jimmy Butler with Golden State? Because I mean, him and Steph were really good against Memphis.
Yeah, he's kind of flown under the radar, honestly.
Hmm.
Not a lot of people have been talking about him. I don't have his stat averages pulled up right now, but overall, I think he's played very well. He's one of those guys that brings that juice, the energy to the locker
Yes.
room. When listening to him during the Grizzlies post game, he was saying he understands that Steph will be that one guy.
Hmm.
Like, Steph is the one.
Yeah, he's the
And
Batman.
I'm exactly. Yep. He's the Batman. Jimmy Butler would be the Robin for that matchup. So that's kind of scary,
That's kind of
honestly,
scary
to
to have
think
Jimmy
that.
Butler as the Robin. Like I was like, playoff Jimmy is like he took an A seed all the way to the finals, and now he's a
Think of that
rock.
23 run. Yeah.
Wow.
23 run was unforgettable. Unforgettable.
Unforgettable,
All the
man.
way. Yeah. Yeah. So he's been good,
Yeah.
to answer your question. I like the trade. It's still weird seeing like an Andrew Wiggins on the Timberwolves and all that,
So
but
weird,
you
bro.
know, yeah. NBA's been shaken up a lot this season, but
Yeah.
it's tough, man. This Western Conference, it's difficult for me
What
to
do you
pick
think
out.
about Luca and the Lakers going up against Minnesota? Like, I think Ant's gonna go crazy, but I just think the Lakers have too much for Minnesota.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards, even last year, all eyes were kind of on him when looking at the Timberwolves team. He had Cat at that time though, so no more Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
So he's really got to step up. Still got Rudy Gobert. Don't know how much of an asset that is, but y-
That's a great
you know,
point.
it's interesting. This Luka trade in general, like,
It's
what was
just
Nico doing?
I still
Clearly,
say it's the worst trade in NBA history by a
I
GM.
think that's a
It's just
yeah,
there's I don't think it's a hot take. I just think it's like it's
it's not
you
an
have a
argument. Yeah,
25-year-old superstar who took
yeah,
you to the finals, and then you're like, you know what? Let's trade him away. But I
yeah.
know in their intention, if you look at the trade before Kyrie's injury, they had Kyrie, Anthony Davis, and Clay. So it's like we still have a competitive team, but still, I'm like, you traded away Luca. Like Clay Thompson did not come to Dallas to not play with Luca. Like he was the main attraction.
Yeah, for sure. So clearly, I think that was personal for
Oh yeah,
Nico and him. I wish I had the answers. I don't think
it's just got
anybody
to be
does at this
personal.
point.
It's just got to be personal.
He won't even speak to media. He spoke to
Yeah,
media 2 days ago, but it was private, and all he said was, "I don't regret doing
no
it."
regrets. Yeah, that was it. I was like, okay, man, that didn't tell us
Okay.
anything.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. So, anyway, that'll be interesting to see what the Timberwolves fans are, or no, excuse me, the Dallas fans are like. But, um, yeah, man, this it's so tough. I like the Lakers though. We're
I
talking about
do too.
Lakers Timberwolves. I like the Lakers. As Shannon Sharp would say,
Lakers in five.
Lakers in five.
I love that. I love that. Oh my goodness. What about Nuggets Clippers? Because Kawhi has been scary. Like Kawhi is like it's like Kawhi is
Mm.
back, and it's like I know that playoff injuries happen, but if he's healthy, I mean he's as good as any player. He's as good as any player. Board man gets
Yeah,
paid.
man.
Board man gets paid.
That's a big topic of conversation. Yeah, man. Kawhi Leonard, if he stays healthy throughout the series,
Yeah.
we'll see what he can do. But he looks really good. James Harden has even been cooking lately.
Hmm.
They've got Ivica
That's a
Zubac,
tough dude.
who
I was about to say like that's uh a different level big three. It's not like a superstar big three, but Zubac is really good. He's really good.
under the radar top five, top 10, or top
Yeah,
seven center in the league, maybe.
for
Just,
sure.
just saying. He's been good flying under the radar for sure. Clippers, I mean, they've got an underrated guard room.
Norman Powell, like
Yep, Norman
yeah,
Powell. He can come off the bench and be a flamethrower, or he could just be a duck. Who knows? It depends on what,
and I think
on if he
Tyronn
shows
Lue
up or
is one of
not.
the.
But
I think Tyronn Lue is one of the best coaches in the NBA for sure.
yeah, most definitely. His playoff experience, yeah, yeah. Tyronn Lue's definitely really
he's
good.
solid.
Uh, You know, man, it's a 4-5 seed, so it's like these are
I
always
think it
the
goes
most
seven.
difficult.
I think it goes seven. I think this one goes. I would say if
Yeah,
I had to give a slight edge, just because I think Jokic is the best player in the series, I would say Nuggets in seven, just by a slight edge. But picking against Kawhi almost makes me like it's just, it's so this is so tough. This one is just so close.
I'm going the Clippers here because I think they're
Okay.
really playing for more.
Yeah,
This is you got to realize this is like a new rebranded Clippers.
it
LA
is.
wants to root for this team. Like the first year playing in the Intuit Dome, they just dumped 2 billion into that stadium
Yeah.
or arena.
So would you say
So
Clippers in six or seven? Or like, what
probably
would be your
seven,
seven? Okay, yeah.
seven. I'm going seven. They both have a record of 50 and
They're
32.
just too.
Like,
Yeah, it's just like how do you even like
and at the end of the
differentiate
day,
them?
the Clippers are one of the hottest teams in the league right now. They're
Of
9-1
course,
in their last 10 games. I think they went 17-3 in their last 20,
hmm
something like that.
one of the best records
But
to close out the season. One of the best records.
exactly. So this is a hot team, right up there with the Oklahoma City Thunder. So
Yeah.
I'm picking Clippers. They've
Is
got the
the
momentum to ride.
yeah OKC like whoever they get? I think they obviously that they would beat them. Like, how
Yeah.
confident are you in this OKC team? Like, because I know like it's either it seems like the narrative, pug narrative is either you're in on them going to the finals or you think they're going to lose in the Western Conference Finals. It's either like one of the two people think. Like where are you kind of at with OKC?
I've got them in the finals.
Okay.
I think they're the deepest team in the league. It's not even close. I mean, from their size that they have, I mean,
Yeah.
Isaiah Hartenstein as their backup center is really solid. Chet Holmgren, obviously, he's back from his injury last year. They were without him, so now they've got him back in the starting rotation. They've got that defensive pedigree with Alex Caruso,
Yeah.
who has
Really good.
also seen a lot of success in the postseason in his
Yeah.
career.
Won the bubble title. But was he on that
Yep,
bubble? Yeah. Yeah. He was. Yeah.
he
This
was. He was.
2020
You
was
got
such a
Shea.
blur.
It really was, yeah, man. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, I mean, MVP caliber season, right up there
Yeah.
with Nikola Jokic. A lot of people are arguing about that, but man, this Thunder team, I think, is really good. I think they've got it, and not only for this season, but they've got it for years to come. Man, they're going to
They
be a
do.
force to reckon with.
Does the experience factor, what do you think about that? Like that's my one question with them. It's just like, the experience, like have they been in enough deep runs? Again, they were in the playoffs last year, lost to Dallas. But what happens when, because I saw the Lakers blew them out pretty bad in one game. Now again, the Thunder beat them in the next game when Luka got ejected, but like, do you think the experience factor does that, like you're still confident in them getting it, but does the experience factor, do you think like that is over noted? Do you think people are using that too much, or because like the depth, like when you have depth, that can override even the experience factor?
Yeah, that's true. At the end of the day, coaches are most likely going to play 7 or 8 men or seven or
Yes.
eight guys. So, I mean, even if doesn't matter how deep your team is per se, it's who's in your starting lineup and how
Yeah.
experienced are they in the key moments? Can they hit the big shots? I think they do have the experience. Last year I look at their 2024, run. They swept my Pelicans.
Mhm.
Um, I say my Pelicans. I grew up a Pelicans fan,
Okay,
so
gotcha, yeah.
that was pretty brutal. Swept my Pelicans. Ended up going to play the Thunder.
Yeah.
Um, what was that in the Western Conference Finals? I think
I think it was.
semifinals. It was the
Yeah,
semifinals.
semifinals, yeah.
Excuse me, but they lost that series 4-2.
Yeah.
Um, and they played them really close. They in game six, they lost to the Mavs by 116, 117. They lost to the Mavs by 4. They lost to them by 12 in one game in that game five. But regardless, I think that Shea is really the glue for this team. I think he's got the experience or built up the experience over the past few years in their playoff runs
Hmm.
to the point where he kind of understands it now. Kind of like a lethal, yeah, anyway.
Yes. It-
So, yeah, man, I think they've got it. My only concern is like Chet Holmgren. He's basically he's a sophomore in the league, technically. What is he going to do here? That's my question. But overall, you've got Alex Caruso, you've got Shea, you got guys like Lou Dort who can step up. I know I'm missing some, but I mean, this team looks solid, man, all around.
they do, man. I mean the East. I mean, I would have to go Boston. I would have to go Boston going all the way. Or would you go with Cleveland? Which one?
This is
I
so
feel like
tough.
you're gonna go with Cleveland.
This is so tough. I don't. The Celtics, in my eyes, don't have that same
It
hunger.
factor. That same it factor.
They
Yeah.
don't have that same hunger for a championship. Last year, it felt like a do or die year for them.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Had to
year
be.
after year after year after year, they fell short. And it really felt like a do or die year for them last year. So they got it now. This year, still had a great year. 61 and 21, second in the
Oh,
East.
that's a
That's 10 game. That's 10
exceptional.
games above the Knicks. That's an awesome season. But I just don't see it, man. I don't see the same. I see more out of this team from like a Peyton Pritchard. He's been balling
Then
out.
the main two guys, and because
Yeah.
Jalen Brown has been in and out. Yeah, for sure.
Like guys like Luke Cornett or Peyton Pritchard, I've seen more heart out of them than anybody else in this team. You
Yeah.
know, it seems like they
I,
almost
they might be
haven't won.
coasting. Yeah, I feel like
I think they're
I
coasting.
think they were coasting. I really think they were coasting in the regular season, which can be dangerous. But I think,
Mhm.
especially against the Magic, I want to see them really be like, yo, plant your flag and show that you're a dominant team again. Because you got to show. Like, it's almost like how the Chiefs, they weren't showing that they were a dominant team, and it's like it took too long, and then by the Super Bowl, they were just like they were completely outclassed. You
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
show that you're a dominant. If you're especially if you're a title contender, you have to show that you're a dominant team. So
Yeah, for sure. For this, I don't know, for that series, I've got Celtics winning it in 6 games. I think the Magic will take two. At
I can see that. Yeah,
least
definitely.
I hope at
I
least.
hope so. Yeah, for sure. Definitely,
Because
man.
I'm trying to go back down to Orlando if they get to game 6. Or
Oh
game
yeah,
five. We'll see. We'll see.
absolutely.
But
So you have OKC winning it all?
oof, yeah, probably, man. Probably.
That's major.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
the best team, best record in the NBA. I don't know who can stop them.
Yeah. Before we
In
let you go
7 games, I
though,
really don't.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Before we let you go though, where do you think Shador Sanders lands in the NFL draft? Where do you think Shador
Oh man.
Sanders land? I mean, I hear like New Orleans, I hear Cleveland. It's just like where is this guy actually going to land? And it's really interesting because Cleveland seems to be like the pick right now.
I keep hearing New Orleans,
Yeah, New
and
Orleans too.
I really hope not. For the love of everything, I hope not, man. New Orleans, Derek Carr, they hear about this injury that Carr has a shoulder injury. He
Yeah.
needs surgery. He's going to miss the whole season. BS. I don't know if you cuss on here, and I'm not trying not to cuss,
No,
but like,
you're
man, I'm really
good.
holding it back. It is ludicrous. I cannot stand that guy. They need to get rid of him. Cut their
They
ties,
do.
cut their losses.
Hey, I'm glad you said it. I'm glad
See
you
you
said it.
later.
Yeah.
Kick that
Sayonara.
bomb out the door and
Sayonara.
let it hit him on the.
Sayonara.
And yeah, exactly. So with that being said, the Saints need a quarterback. Well, here
Yeah.
comes Shador Sanders. Like I just don't like the fit. I
Yeah,
really
it's not a
don't.
fit.
I where does Shador go? I don't even know, man. It's just an attention grab.
Oh,
Like
for sure.
he's not going to go to a franchise and just ball out, his rookie year. Or really ever. I don't really see this guy being, great down the road. Dion is a lot of his success right now.
Hmm.
Sure, he went to Colorado. He had Travis Hunter. They found a lot of success. Dion brought in a lot of guys, especially in that first season. Second season, it was pretty rough.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what I mean right there. They couldn't even win. They could hardly win at Colorado.
That's insane, man.
And
That's
now
just
he's like,
insane.
oh man, he's a top 10 draft pick. Get out of here. You know.
Yeah.
So where is he going to go, man? I wish I had an answer for you, but I mean,
It's gonna be the most entertaining selection for because it's just like nobody can give a concrete definitive answer. Cam Ward, in terms of this analysis, I think Cam Ward is gonna be good. I'm hearing like I see some people say like, yo, Kitty, he has like I saw a question on First Take, which is this is what irks me about some questions on sports talk shows that they do like does he have like Patrick Mahomes compare? I'm like, can we let this kid just play like 2 games without like comparing him to like the best quarterback in the world? Like I feel like these kids
yeah,
come in with too much expectation. It's just like let them just at least get some reps under them to actually do it. But Travis Hunter, I can't wait to see what he does because he's one of the most outstanding two-way guys I think we've seen in a while. Like Travis Hunter, wherever he goes, like probably third. I'm hearing like third for the Giants, right?
yeah,
That's like the projection, but he's gonna be phenomenal. Like Travis Hunter's gonna be a
yeah.
stud.
And I'm curious to see if he plays both sides of the ball because right now it
That's
seems like
yeah.
what he's posting on social media, it seems like I don't want to play football if I don't play both sides of the ball.
Mm,
We'll see. Let's
yeah,
let him play a few NFL games. Let's
and we'll
see.
see.
He'll see really quick that
Oh,
these
he'll
guys are a
still
lot
learn.
bigger, a lot faster, a lot stronger.
It's not a
He'll see.
game. Yeah, and I'm
Yeah,
sure Dion is telling him, hey man, it's different. It's different doing
yeah,
that in the
yeah.
NFL. Well,
But hey,
Zach,
if he
man,
thinks he can go in there and conquer the world, by all means, have
for
at it.
sure. Zach, it has been an absolute pleasure, man. I love
Yeah,
what you do. You're an inspiration. It's definitely inspiration to me for what I'm doing, where I want to
I
get to at
appreciate
one
that.
point. And I love what you're doing, man. Thank you so much for being on.
Man, it's a pleasure. I appreciate you. Keep rolling. Hey, biggest thing I can say, stay consistent. That's the biggest thing. And work so much on yourself that you don't have time to criticize others. It'll take you so far in life. That's for anybody out there
That's a
listening.
bar.
So
It's a bar.
I
Okay.
appreciate you, man.
That wraps it up for tonight. I'm your host, Wellington Burns. This has been Full Scope. See you later.